Come on, Jeff. Just
boom.
I don't know why you're so afraid. Why are you so afraid to do a bendy? You're afraid to do a bendy, and I don't get.
I just don't want to step in on what you guys are doing. I feel like you got a good thing going.
Jeff, the bendy's for everybody.
It is.
The bendy's for everybody. I know that everybody.
Blue Review staple. I think
exactly.
You're on every Friday now. You need to be willing to do the bendy.
Okay, duly noted. I'll put that in my notes.
There we go. We're gonna get the bendy next week. Awesome. Welcome everybody to a Friday edition of the Blue Review, April 4th. That is 8:30. We're here every weekday, 8:30 to 8:55 on the Blue Review, courtesy of LAX. Our friends over there at LAX are transforming the travel experience, reducing traffic, saving guest time. Got to learn more at flylax.com/transforminglAX. Today we are joined by, as you mentioned, Greg, our great friend Jeff Spiegel, the new Friday regular, as we're going to call it. Jeff, how are you doing this lovely Friday?
It's great. Dodgers 8-0, nice little off day last night. So we're ready for a road trip here to Philadelphia.
Exactly. Off night, Greg, so we're going to get a lot to talk about. But what were you going to ask?
I was going to say, like, it's weird having an off day now. I think last year, even though you loved watching everything, I felt kind of like, okay, I got an off day. It's nice to be able to step away from watching the Dodgers just for a day. And now, yesterday, I was like, what am I going to do? There's no Dodgers. I mean, I went to the Laker game, so it was fine. I got to watch the Lakers look terrible. But at the same time, I wanted to watch the Dodgers because they're 8-0, and they're exciting.
It was tough going from my normal Dodgers routine to watching that Lakers performance last night. It's a slightly different viewing experience than what I'm used to.
Right. Now, when you watch the Lakers, do you get viscerally angry about certain things like you do with the Dodgers, or you really don't get mad about the Dodgers, but do you get viscerally angry because it's so late in the season and it's kind of the point of like every game means so much?
I was part of the Lakers Nation crew last night. We did a live watch along, and I think if I had to watch Luka do another step back three in like a big moment after he could just get to the hoop pretty much whenever he wanted and like was actually making those 8 to 10 footers, it was a visceral reaction late in the game. I forget exactly the setup, but he had a step back three that was his 6th miss of the night, and it drove me crazy. So a little bit of reaction for me.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm right there with it. We'll get to the Dodger stuff, I swear to God. But it's at the same time, like Luka does some things that start to drive me nuts too. Like I love him. I'm so happy he's a Laker. But he takes these drives to the basket, and instead of finding a way to get to the basket, he stops, jumps, and turns and throws the ball away. Like you're right next to the basket. Take the shot there. These guys aren't stopping you. It's just an odd. He drives in, stops, turns, passes out.
He had one shot where he like actually went into the defender's chest at like that 6-7 foot range and put it up and in. And I'm like, yo, you can do that every time, brother.
Every time. All right. But anyway, what the Dodgers are doing every time is winning every time. Every time they get out there, they are winning. And we got Yamamoto tonight, but there's a lot of other things that are going on, Jeff. And I think we got to start with the IL news with Freddie Freeman. And Freddie has had that ankle injury since last year. So to me, it's like, it just looks like, hey, just take some time off, take as much time as you need. You guys are flowing. You're just going through the motions at this point. Just take the time that you need so that you're fully healthy. I don't fully believe it fell in the shower kind of thing. When Dave says that the lyingness of the Dave saying like, oh, he's going to play on Friday. No, he's not.
Yeah. The only reason I believe it is because I don't think Freddie Freeman would lie to me. I think Dave Roberts definitely would lie to me. Freddie Freeman has like doubled, tripled, and quadrupled down on that he slipped in the shower. He had some story about how it could have been way worse, and there was the glass pane and all this. So what I'm interested to see is how long he's actually on the injured list, because we were there in spring training when Freddie Freeman made his debut, and he came and talked to us afterwards and basically said his ankle isn't really 100% or even all that close to 100%, that he was going to have to tape it up pretty significantly every single game and all that kind of stuff. So he was still hitting the ball okay, but I just wonder if now that you've crossed the threshold of actually placing him on the injured list, I just wonder if they're going to say, hey, you know what, Freddie, instead of just doing 10 days, and yes, it's retroactive, so it's like, 6 or 7 more, I wonder if they say, hey, let's give this 2-3 weeks, let it rest, let it recover, do this thing right, because winning these games in April just isn't that big of a deal. And oh, by the way, like they're probably going to keep winning with or without Freddie Freeman in the lineup.
Yeah, no, but
which they have been, yes.
which they have been, but also like I really think they clinched the playoff spot on Wednesday. So I think you can get through some of these games here, no matter what. So yeah, I'm with you. Like, just take the time that he needs. Take a little bit. Make sure that he's 100% healthy. Don't be coming back. I know he loves to play 162 games. It's not going to happen. Yeah. So take the time that you need so that you can come back, and it's not just. No, oh, I'm 85%. I'm 90%. Be 100%, so that you can be healthy the rest of the year when we absolutely need you. Kike Hernandez does fine at first base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think for the listeners and for everyone tuning in, it's positive that there was no additional damage shown on the X-ray, and it's just one of those, like you said, Jeff, almost a precautionary thing. Hey, we can settle these 2 weeks. It's April, and maybe they don't go 30-3. Like our host Travis Rogers was saying yesterday, maybe they go 27-8. But oh boy,
Yeah.
But yeah. Jeff, I mean, the offense outside of that, we haven't had too much chance to kind of just chat with you. They really haven't been playing all that great despite all these wins. Is there anything really that stood out? While Freddie has been out, granted to the superstars, that is.
Yeah. Real quick, by the way, I just noticed you guys are wearing matching sweatshirts. I think that's super cute that you guys have the same.
It is super cute. It's hoodie and hat Friday. I think Parker's worn that hoodie for 4 days in a row at this point. But this is usually what I wear on the Fridays. So yes.
So you're claiming that outfit as your own, Greg, is what it sounds like. Is that everybody, Parker, you were expecting to accommodate around your routine?
Yeah, I buy it off of Greg. That's just how it is.
Got it. Okay. Dodgers offense. Yeah, I mean. It's crazy. We were talking right before we get on. There's only been 2 games when the Dodgers have had Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman all in the lineup at the same time, and yet they're 8-0. And the way I've been putting it on our show is what makes this Dodgers team so remarkable. When you look at the 3 elements, starting pitching, bullpen, and offense, the Dodgers, if they get 2 out of 3, they're going to win like 80 to 85% of those games. And what makes the Dodgers unique, now some people would say, well, wouldn't every team say that? Like if you get a good start and you score 6 runs, you're probably going to win. The difference is the Dodgers, I think it's reasonable to expect that every single game. It's reasonable to expect that most of the time you're going to get an awesome start. Most of the time your bullpen is going to be locked down. And most of the time the offense is going to score 5, 6, 7 runs. And so that's what we've seen. Like what strikes me, guys, is that I can't think of a single game of the 8 where all 3 elements were firing on all cylinders. There's been nights when Blake Snell, little rough. Well, guess what? The bullpen's awesome. My guy Jack Dreyer, 2 scoreless innings, and then the offense comes through. Even the defense let him down in that one. Or it's the opposite. Tyler Glass now is completely dominant. The bullpen is solid, and the offense gives you a couple runs. So I think that's the beauty of this team. You don't need to be firing on all cylinders to win a lot of these games because the margin for error is pretty significant.
Yeah, we talked a lot about yesterday with Marcus, and he just wasn't able to join today because he had something else going on. But we were talking a lot of it yesterday. This team is not playing. You wouldn't say they're playing great right now. They're not playing well. I mean, you're not firing on all cylinders like you're saying there, and they're still finding ways to win because they just do it. Talk about it all the time. But Oral Hershiser early in the season, but still early. But I think it was against Detroit. He said the game is just too long for opposing teams. And it's true because they're going to find a way to get you at some point. If they get your starter out, you have the bullpen. They're going to find a way. And if it's a third time through the lineup, like we saw just on Wednesday, they're going to get you. Or sorry, Tuesday when I'm blanking on
Chris Sale.
Chris Sale, yeah, when it was Sale, he got to the third time through the lineup. They got him. That's all it takes sometimes.
And that's what's crazy, right? Is they've already faced the defending AL and NL Cy Young Award winners, and they got to both guys, and they're 8-0. Like, it's not like haven't played anybody yet either. I mean, we'll see if the Braves end up being good. I still think the Braves are going to be very good, even though they're 0-1,000,000, I think, right now. But the fact that they're doing this against not bottom dwellers, I'll say that, I think is more impressive.
Yeah, they're going to get some of those bottom dwellers coming up in these next few series after this Phillies one. I was looking at the chat here. BC, our friend, always bringing the stats on this topic of the offense, the powered offense. The team as a whole hitting 233. He says unsustainable slugging's carrying them to the wins. So sure, we kind of wanted to talk about that because I can't necessarily say I agree. One, there's 18 other teams with worse averages. I mean, the Braves are hitting like 100 as a team.
Yeah.
But the slugging as a team, I was looking, I think they're hitting maybe, 3, 4 something. I'll double check real quick on the chat. Yeah,
Their slug is-
490.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, Jeff, I was gonna say, yeah, 490 slugging. I mean, it's mainly just timely hitting that's been carrying them. And like you said, to your point, Greg, they're going to get to you. I don't think that's unsustainable in a sense. I think that's the identity of the team.
Totally agree. And batting average tends to be a stat that builds as the season goes on, because the pitchers are typically more ready than the hitters are early on. I mean, this Dodgers team had a 446 slugging percentage last year. They led all of Major League Baseball. So it's hard for, yes, the 490 number is higher than 446. That's where it evened out. Their batting average was also 258 last year. So I think this is going to normalize. It does not feel to me like this team has hit their ceiling. I think there are guys, and I always get in trouble whenever I say this person's name, but there are guys like Tommy Edman that are going insane from a power perspective right now. And so whether or not that remains sustainable, I've decided to opt out of all Tommy Edman is this sustainable conversations, because people don't like hearing me talk about Tommy Edman, rightfully so. But those guys, like I would say, who knows? We'll see what happens. But again, Freddie Freeman hasn't been that great. Ohtani hasn't been that great. So I think there's room for improvement. Max Muncy, those types of guys, even if Will Smith, Tommy Edman might, quote unquote, come back down to earth at some point.
Yeah, and BC, like you're bringing up stats for a team this early in the season. I get it, but it's also like going with plus minus stats for game to game in basketball, or or even over like a 4-game stretch. It's just too early. Of course, numbers are going to be inflated one way or the other because there's just so little sample size. Yeah. So yeah, everything is going to be changed. But the fact of the matter is that yes, 490 is not sustainable, but it's still going to be somewhere pretty close to that. If they were 446, like you said last year, it's not out of the realm of possibility with this lineup and with the guys that they brought in, and even in Michael Conforto, that could go up to like 450, 455. Like it's something which is insane, but this team has the power and they hit for slug. That's just how it works out. So I think I don't want to go like too deep into overall team stats this early in the season after 8 games. I think it's just silly.
We're still getting some. He's hitting us with all the stats in the chat. Appreciate you, BC, for being in here. And you know what? I bet Jeff loves this. I know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Greg just not a numbers guy. He wants to see the eye test, and the numbers be damned.
Well, it's eye test and numbers combined. You just want to go into like WXOBA. Like
he did give you batting average. You and Moreno love batting average. You love pitchers wins. These are your stats right here. That is
the exact wrong thing that I like. I mean, batting average is the most worthless stat that we actually have at this point. Give me OBP all day, baby.
There we go.
But you brought up Tommy Edman, and I think that is something. I know you brought it up, so we have to talk about it. I was going to leave it alone.
It's great. I'm here for it.
All right. So Tommy Edman, I think I saw a stat. It was something along the lines of over the last like 40 games that he's had with the Dodgers, he has a decent amount of home runs.
Tons.
And so it's something like, I don't know, somewhere between 15 and 20. I don't know the exact number. Maybe you have that. But either way, he's hitting for power. And I think I know he only has 12 home runs as a high for a season, but he's also still pretty young. And what the Dodgers do is they try and tinker with your swing just enough so that you know exactly which pitches to go after to show your power. I don't know why that is not sustainable, and he could very well be. He's not going to be a 40 home run guy by any means, but he could very much is going to be an all-star this year.
Yeah, so he's got 12 home runs as a Dodger, and that's over 61 total games. So there might be a stat in there where, like, maybe he didn't hit one in his first 10 games as a Dodger, but 61 games as a Dodger, he has 12 home runs. His career high, he debuted in 2019. So across 6 seasons, his career high is 13 home runs. To me, that was why I came into the season and just said, I think he's going to be fine. But I was surprised when I had a co-host who said, I think he's going to hit over 20 home runs. I'm like, over 20 home runs? We have 6 seasons of sample size that the guy just doesn't hit for power. And then I look like an idiot because he's got 4 home runs in 8 games so far this season. So, I mean, I'll ask you, Greg, like, do you think he hits 25 home runs this season?
I think 25 is doable. Do I think he gets there? Probably not. I mean, I think it'll be anywhere between 18 and 20. I think he can hit that 20 home run mark, though. I don't think he's not here for his power. Tommy Tanks is not here for that, but we'll take any time he gets him.
Absolutely. And that's where I'm at. Like, I think Tommy Edman's a great player. And I think his value is sort of dispersed throughout his game defensively, his utility ability, his ability to get on base. I just didn't see the power piece coming. And I hope I'm wrong, right? Anytime I predict that a Dodgers guy maybe is going to be slightly underwhelming at something, people like rub it in my face. I'm like, I'm first and foremost a Dodgers fan. So I hope I'm wrong when I say things like this. But he's been fantastic. One other question I would love to get your thoughts. And Parker, maybe I'll ask you first. Where do you want Tommy Edman playing defensively? Because this has become a debate. And I've long been second base, and I feel justified in that based on how the season has gone. But center field has not been a strong suit for the Dodgers offensively, even if Pages has been, up until last game, okay defensively. So would you put Edman in center field or second base, Parker?
So we've had a lot of discussions about Pages on this show so far. Borderline to the point where he might be Greg's next villain, but it's too early in the season to make that decision yet. Too early. But I lean with you on this one, Jeff. I think that the outfield has been respectable to the point where seeing him at second consistently would be the best. But then again, that's where the Freddie IL stint kind of comes into play. Throughout the whole season, if I see Tommy more in center field than I do in the infield, that might make me happier. I don't know. But Greg, what about you?
So, I mean, I love the fact that he is a utility. I don't really want him to be I will answer the question, but I kind of like that he can bounce between center field and second base. Like, I think that's an important piece for him to be able to do. But if he's a Gold Glove second baseman, I think I like guys in the position that they're meant to be in. So I like him as a Gold Glove second baseman. However, I'll ask you, Jeff. So what's more detrimental to a team? A ball that squirts through second base to get to it just a little bit past the second baseman, or a ball that's dropped in the outfield that just hits off the wall?
Yeah.
What's going to be more detrimental to your team in that sense?
And this is the Tommy Edman debate, because to your point, I've said I think he's the best second baseman defensively in Major League Baseball, and I think there's probably a decent gap. But what makes this argument so hard is that center field is unequivocally a more valuable defensive position. And so do you want a guy who's like, a 7.5 out of 10 at the way more valuable spot? Or do you want a guy who's 10 out of 10, but at a spot that, is important, but it's not shortstop, it's not center field, it's not some of these other positions? That's what makes it tricky. So I think there's other options in some of these places. I am with you. I have been also skeptical of Andy Pages, both offensively and defensively, and from a base running perspective. Holy crap. That's the part from the other night that we didn't talk about on our show. So, So I can understand. My vote would be, and I said from the beginning, I wanted Kike to be an everyday guy. He hasn't hit the ball all that well. Then you can make the case, well, where do you want Kike to play? He could play center field or he could play second base. So I could go either way. I would lean Edman at second base because he's so elite. I think it was the extra innings game where he made 3 plays in 1 inning that saved that game. So I would just want more of that in my life because I think he's so good there.
Yeah, and what do you do with Pages at this point? Because like you were talking about, his base running is a problem. He's ran through Dino Evo stop signs twice. Now, he's been safe both of those times. It has to be pointed out that both times, it was in Japan that he went home and he made it all the way home, and then he ran through a stop sign to make it to third on a terrible slide that was a really bad decision, but he was safe. So with the base running being bad, the outfield defense always an adventure, which he's already dropped balls in center field, and he's just not hitting either. He's getting on because he got hit one time or he threw a walk, which I'll give him credit for. He is being much more patient at the plate. But what do you do with Andy Pages?
I think Pages, and the same thing happened in the spring. The thing he has going for him is that nobody around him has come and taken the spot from him. It was like in the spring, it was like, okay, can James Outman or Ha-Seong Kim or one of these people or Kike Hernandez just go and win the job? And nobody did it. So Pages kind of was the default. And even now, like if Kike Hernandez had come out of the gates hot and was hitting 450 or something like that, I think you could make a case, but he just isn't. Like Kike's struggling. They like him in the utility role. They keep saying that, all that kind of thing. So I think we're going to get a Gavin Lux type situation with Andy Pages where he gets a really long runway, and hopefully people don't turn on Andy Pages the way they turned on Gavin Lux. But I'm with you. I mean, even that first to third play, okay, it was kind of crazy where that ball was hit that he thought he was going to make it to third. But even worse than that was, as you pointed out, an atrocious slide. The guy is standing on the left side, as he's coming. He's on Andy Pages' right, and Pages basically across his body is reaching for the corner of the bag closest to the defender. Like, it just was a bizarre situation. Then he gets doubled off third. The pitcher catches the ball and his next step is towards home. Like, I don't know what is going on in his head. I just think they're going to be patient. There's nobody that's taking that spot from him. And so for now it's his, and they're just crossing their fingers that eventually the bat turns around and eventually the defense becomes tolerable. The base running becomes forgettable.
Okay, so you say that, Jeff. Now let's play a hypothetical. We got a super chat here in the YouTube chat, thanks to Some Kind of Wonderful. We appreciate you and your chat. They ask, who are the Dodgers calling up? Now, kind of, we haven't really gotten to that this episode, but I think playing off of this Pages discussion, this second base discussion, there are some, for lack of better terms, baseball terms, there are some from out of left field options that maybe the Dodgers could play. Someone else in the chat mentioned, what if we play Kike in center? And you were saying maybe as an everyday person, this was Roy Estrada. He asks, what if Dalton Rushing gets to the 40-man, you play him at first base or another prospect? Greg, where do you land on that, answering this super chat here?
So the super chat, to me, and I think he had a tremendous spring. I don't think Dalton Rushing is coming up pretty soon. They very much want him to be a catcher, and I think Hunter Fiducia may be even ahead of him in that sense for being the backup catcher. Jeff, you may know more on that. But to me, the guy that I would like to actually see be brought up, I think he actually accepted. I could be wrong because I haven't looked at the minor league system very much, is David Bodie. And he was fantastic in spring training. I would love to see David Bodie come up. He can only play two positions. He's a DH and he's a first baseman. With Freddie Freeman on the IL, I'd love to see David Bodie come up, play first base every day, let Kike go back to the utility role. Maybe he plays some second when Edman's in center or vice versa. But that's the guy that I would like to see. It's I don't think Dalton Rushing is coming up soon.
Yeah. And Bodie is kind of a utility guy. We saw him a lot at first base, like you said. But I mean, if you look at his major league career, he's kind of logged innings everywhere. I think you're probably right that the Dodgers might only feel comfortable. But he's an interesting one because there was a report about a week and a half ago that he had exercised what was called an upward mobility clause. A lot of these guys who sign minor league deals have contracts that basically say, if I'm not on the major league roster by a certain date, then I can just opt out. Now, I think this clause was actually more of like, you can only opt out if there's another team that's willing to sign you to their 40-man roster. Otherwise, you have to stay. And so that happened, and I was like, oh, dang, he's gone. Well, he's still on the roster. They added him to the restricted list a few days ago. And so I actually do wonder if there's a world where the Dodgers add him to the 40-man roster. He comes in and plays some first base. As you said, he had a great spring. So I actually do think that's an option that wasn't necessarily on the table. That would be my guess if I had to of who comes up. I think Bodie makes some sense. They've got some other veteran guys in there, but none of whom. It depends on, like, is Kike just going to play first base every single day? Because if that's the case, then you have some more flexibility. But if you need someone to play first base, I think Bodie would be pretty clearly the guy for me.
Yeah, I think the topic is all around health, and like you said, Greg, at this moment, it's Freddie on the IL, so Bodie would be the first option. I think all three of us agree there. There's another name that they just signed recently, the Estuary Ruiz, who could be thrown in the mix just based off of speed and matchup wise. So you don't know there. That's another reclamation project that the Dodgers are known for. So I mean, kind of keep an eye there as well. But we're kind of low on time here. But Yamamoto, quickly, Jeff, before we roll out the red carpet for you, what are you expecting to see tonight? And then maybe this Monday we'll react to all the starting pitching that we see over the weekend.
Yeah, I've been super high on Yamamoto. I think the splitter has been nasty and the fastball has been great. And so if he can continue to get swing and miss, I think he had 17 whiffs on 37 swings, 10 whiffs on 14 swings on the splitter in particular, got all 5 pitches working. So I expect more of the same. This is going to be a test at Philadelphia, weird time game, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll see how the Dodgers respond, but I don't think Yamamoto is going to have any issues tonight.
Yeah, I love Yamamoto. I think we're all on the same page. You, Jeff, or me, I think everybody else. I know that Clint Pasillas was very much on the Yamamoto train. He's just shown that he is a major league pitcher. He's shown that he is worth the money that they gave him, and that every big moment that he is there, and he really just he looks comfortable out there. He looks like he's in command of the strike zone. He looks like he's in command of his pitches. I love what I'm seeing out of Yamamoto so far. So, yeah, I think he's going to be great tonight.
All right, well, Dodgers, Phillies tonight. Yamamoto versus Luzardo. I believe Luzardo had about 11 Ks last game. So
5 innings.
Pitching duel. So we will react Monday, that is, but stay tuned on our socials. ESPN Los Angeles will be active on there. And then stay here for Travis and DeMarco on the ESPN LA YouTube channel, as they're going to talk Dodgers as well. But Jeff, thank you so much. I'm going to roll out the red carpet for you. I know you're going to be here every Friday, so everybody get used to it. Where can we find you? Where can we find all your work?
Yeah, Dodger Blue 1958 on YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe, ring the notification bell. We go live. Usually it's Tuesdays, Thursdays, Sundays. We had to mix up the Thursday schedule because of some weather issues for some of our Lakers Nation friends. So I was heading over there. But you can find me at Jeff Spiegel. But Dodger Blue 1958 on YouTube is the main spot. The Dodger Heads podcast on Apple, Spotify, and Google.
All right, let's get it. Go Dodgers. Thank you to the Blue Review. Thank you to LAX. Greg, appreciate you joining from home. Give some pets to Lola for me. We will see you. We'll see you Monday, 8:30, 8:55, and cue the music.